Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are taking a seriously fascinating masterclass journey. We're going to guide our metaphorical protagonist, which, let's be totally honest, is really just all of us, from the deep, uncharted depths of the inner psyche, all the way to the cold mechanics of the material world. We are unpacking the hidden architecture of human behavior, using some absolutely incredible insights from our source material.
So, let's kick things off with a stark, maybe even a little uncomfortable question. What invisible forces are silently operating in your own life right now? We all love to think we're entirely rational creatures, right? Just logically steering our own ships. But, as our sources reveal, much of what holds us back, pushes us forward, or just flat out trips us up is completely unseen.
Section 1. The Invisible Mountain Inside.
Now, we usually look at self-sabotage and think, I have zero discipline, I'm just being lazy. But our source material, drawing from Brianna Weiss's work, completely flips this on its head. It shows us that self-sabotage is actually your brain desperately trying to keep you safe in familiar misery. Literally, your subconscious interprets any change, even the good kind, as a massive biological threat.
Essentially, you are fighting a non-stop biological war against yourself. You've got your conscious mind aiming straight for the summit and your unconscious mind just slamming on the emergency brakes, demanding safety and the status quo. This invisible conflict brings our protagonist to a total standstill right at the base of his own mountain. It's exactly why you leave that job application open on your laptop but never actually click submit, or why you map out a whole new workout habit on Sunday and totally abandon it by Wednesday.
So how do you beat it? You have to use what are called micro-revolutions. Because your brain aggressively resists sudden transformation, you literally have to sneak past its biological panic alarm. You take tiny, totally non-threatening steps so your nervous system doesn't freak out and pull you backward. Seriously, don't try to reinvent yourself overnight. Just walk for 5 minutes. Save a single $5 bill. These microscopic steps build momentum, and that momentum is what eventually builds an entirely new identity.
Moving on to Section 2, Spells, Assumptions, and Agreements.
Our protagonist learns a pretty harsh lesson here, rooted in the teachings of Don Miguel Ruiz. The source shares this incredibly tragic, powerful anecdote. Imagine a kind, hardworking father who comes home with a blinding migraine. His young son is jumping around the living room, just joyfully singing. Triggered by the immense pain, the stressed father completely snaps and yells, "Shut up, you have a terrible voice." Now the dad didn't mean it, but a permanent, paralyzing spell was cast with that one cruel sentence. The boy believed it. He formed an internal agreement with it, and he never sang again.
Looking at these two mindsets side by side, we really have to look in the mirror and ask, how many relationships have you ruined simply by assuming the worst instead of having the courage to just ask a question? We constantly assume we know what our partner wants, or we assume a text left unread is an intentional insult. Negative assumptions just breed this emotional poison that clogs up our reality. On the flip side, positive assumptions, or better yet, just bravely asking for the truth, give us incredible clarity and personal power.
The massive takeaway here is that someone else's judgment is actually a reflection of their own internal reality, their own dream. It is absolutely not an accurate measure of your worth. Think about it. When you take things personally, you are volunteering to absorb someone else's emotional garbage. If someone calls you a name and you believe them, you've just made an active agreement to suffer. Reject the delivery and you stay protected. It's that simple.
Section 3. The Masks of Human Nature.
Just look around your workplace or your friend group, and I guarantee you'll rapidly identify these toxic archetypes. Robert Greene's insights show us exactly who is draining our energy. You've got the brute, who is aggressively impatient, the chatterbox, who talks incessantly about themselves, the miser, who is stingy not just with cash, but with emotion. Spotting these personality types early is absolutely crucial for protecting your progress up the mountain.
And dealing with them requires us to use the mirror technique. This forces us to look past the masks people project so we can see the deep-seated fears they're actually hiding. Take the leveler, for example. They'll constantly preach about fairness and justice, right? But the hidden truth is usually a secret, toxic envy of anyone else's success. Or the brute, who projects this extreme, dominant confidence. It's really just a mask for deep insecurity and a total refusal to be patient. You have to learn how to read the reality simmering beneath the performance.
To really anchor this abstract concept, look no further than the historical, envy-fueled rivalry between Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla. Edison promised Tesla a massive financial reward for solving a major technical issue. But when Tesla actually succeeded, Edison just laughed it off and refused to pay him. This bitter weed of envy and pride completely destroyed their trust and sparked a lifelong, legendary feud. Envy is active, it is highly destructive, and honestly, it can consume even the most brilliant minds if left unchecked.
Section 4. The Psychology of Wealth.
When it comes to money, we almost always treat finance like a sterile math equation that just needs to be solved. But in reality, what we actually do with our money is intensely tangled up with our egos, our deep fears of scarcity, and the pride we want to project to our neighbors. True financial decisions aren't made on pristine spreadsheets. They're made around messy dinner tables.
Morgan Housel calls this fascinating concept financial DNA. He proves that our individual financial risk tolerance is permanently wired by the economic environment of our youth. Think about it. Someone born in 1950 who came of age during a totally stagnant market is going to view investing completely differently than someone born in 1970 who watched the S&P 500 skyrocket tenfold during their teens. When those two people sit across from each other today, they aren't debating math. They're debating their entirely different lived realities.
Section 5. The Path to Self-Mastery.
Real mastery is anchored in 4 simple yet unbelievably profound agreements to live by. Ready? Be impeccable with your word. Take absolutely nothing personally. Make no assumptions, and always, always do your best. And by the way, doing your best means prioritizing the action itself over the external reward. If you consistently apply these 4 principles, you will literally build an impenetrable shield around your inner peace and clear a wide-open path for true growth.
To build your daily mental strength, try using this incredibly simple 2-step emotional regulation process so you can stop treating your feelings as orders. Remember, emotions are signals, they are not commands. When you feel a massive surge of anger or fear, just pause. Name the emotion without judging yourself for having it. Then, from that much calmer, centered place, you choose your response. This totally breaks the cycle of self-sabotage and firmly puts your rational mind back in the driver's seat.
We're going to leave you with this final, highly provocative thought. Every single one of us carries around a heavy, invisible backpack filled with old fears, rigid social masks, and negative assumptions. But to reach the summit of your own potential, you have to set that weight down. So are you ready to drop the heavy backpack of these invisible forces and step fully into self-mastery? The mountain is waiting. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I truly hope this changes how you view the unseen forces in your world.